Hello my crafty friends, it's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and today I'm going to share making a paper wreath with you. So I bought this pattern paper pack recently online because I didn't have any double-sided 12 by 12 papers in my stash. So I'm just going through and showing you all of the papers that came in this pack. A lot of cut aparts in here, but this one that I'm pointing out to you will end up being the only one that I save to be the center in my decoration for my paper rosette that I will make in a little bit. But I end up this entire pad of paper I cut into 1/2 inch strips, including the cut apart pieces and all. I've made several of these wreaths. I've done a few Christmas ones. I have one that hangs on my door in my work for my office. That one is kind of neutral, peachy, pinky green colors. So I leave that up all year. I decided this year that I wanted to have a Christmas version. So that's what I'm making here. So this can go on my door at work. I have made Halloween ones. I have made one that looked like Mickey Mouse. I've done quite a few of these. They are a little time consuming and your thumb does get a little sore with all of the pin pushing and curling of the ribbon. But right now I'm just taking my paper trimmer and I am trimming this down to 1/2 inch strips. You don't have to be terribly precise. Once you get that all together, it's very forgiving and you won't be able to see that some of your pieces are cut crooked. That won't matter in the end. So, but do the best as you can. And I decided to do 1/2 inch strips. That seemed to work well for me. So I'm just going to show you this one piece, and then off screen I did cut the rest of the pack down. I used my larger Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer to do the bulk of that work because I could go through multiple pieces at one time. So once you get all of your paper trimmed down, the next step is to then take a bone folder and you're going to curl your paper. So I'll show you that in just a second once I get these last few pieces cut. I really enjoy it. Of course, this has a gnome theme, this whole paper pack, so I like that. I do have one of the Christmas card projects coming up soon will feature some gnomes, so stay tuned for that. While I was doing this project, I realized I own a lot of bone folders. So this one is my Teflon bone folder, and it wasn't, the worst, but it wasn't the best for this. So then I had a little one that came in the Martha Stewart scoreboard. But this one is the one that I like. This, I can't remember where it's from, but I've had it for a while. And just basically, you don't even have to do it often, as many times as I'm doing it here. And of course, while it was on camera, none of them curled nicely. But I took this down to my mother's while I was chatting with my sister and my mother, and I just sat and curled all of these papers. So you just want to curl all of them. You want to do half of one side and then half of your other design because these are double-sided pieces. My foam ring I got at the Dollar Tree. I got these pins at Walmart. They're just applique pins. They're not terribly long. And all you do is take that pin and put it in the middle of your paper and secure it down to this foam wreath. And then you rinse and repeat until you have your wreath as covered as you want it to be. I do not put any on the back because I am hanging this on a door, so you're not going to see the back of it. And that way it lays flat. There's none of the curly paper keeping it from laying flat against the door. So now I'm going to make my paper rosette. So this is I believe I went with 2.5, I think it's either 2 inches or 2.5 inches by 12, and I have 2 pieces of this, and I am scoring them at every 1/2 inch in my Martha Stewart scoreboard. So I'm going to repeat that with this second piece, again at 1/2 inch. You could do them at a 1/4 inch, but I find with my fingers, I just have a really hard time doing the fan fold afterwards if they're that tight together, so I did the 1/2 inch for these. And then once I get those done, I am going to accordion fold both of these pieces back and forth, just fan folding these until I have them both done. And then I will take a piece of double-sided adhesive and adhere it to the end, because you want to attach these together so that you have one large strip of paper. And then I will add an additional adhesive on the end and make it one big circle, because that's how you're going to make your rosette. And off camera to the left hand side, I have my hot glue gun warmed up and ready to go, because you do want some hot glue in order to keep this together once you do have it all attached. You could use wet glue for the next step that I'm doing, where you add them together, but you want your peaks and your valleys to continue. So you want opposite pieces together when you glue them, so that when you fold them, it makes sense. They continue as if it was one long piece of paper. And so I'm just lining those up and doing that here. And then I will add some tape, make sure I've got them, folded correctly. Add my last piece of double-sided adhesive and make one big circle. And then I have a circle punch right there in the upper right-hand corner. That's what I'm going to use to close this rosette. So you add some hot glue. You're going to squish it all together as tight as you can, and then put down your circle, and you want to hold it until it cools. And then I flipped it over, and I was going to add another circle to the back. I do fill the hole with hot glue. This one didn't stay very well, so I do end up adding more glue so that it will hold together, and then add my second circle so that that is going to keep this rosette all together. And I'm just kind of holding it and pressing it until it cools a little bit. And then I'm going to add my, I think it says warm wishes or winter wishes. I think it just says warm wishes, and it's got a cute little gnome on the front of it. That's my piece, the cut apart that's right there on the right hand side. So once I get my circles set with the hot glue, I am going to attach that to the front with just some liquid glue right to that circle. So you're not going to see that at all. And then I do add some hot glue to where I want this rosette to be on my wreath. I'm adding hot glue to the back, and then I would adhere that to the wreath. I did this a little bit ahead of time before I had my wreath filled up too much, because I wanted to see how much room the rosette was going to take up, and then that way I could fill the remaining section around it with the ribbons of paper. And so that's what I have completed so far. And now I have it all filled in, and so I'm just going to take some ribbon from my stash that coordinates with my paper, and I'm going to loop it and pin it some more to the back of this wreath, so that will hold it, and that gives me something to hang it up with. So like I said, you could do this for multiple seasons, occasions, holidays, whatever you can find paper for in your imagination, you could create these. So I just trimmed off the excess, and I'm going to make sure that this is really pinned down. You could add some hot glue to this if you wanted, but I find that the pins hold the ribbon just fine, and it works well, and they make great door decorations. So I hope that you like this project for today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them for me down below. And I hope that you'll give it a try, and if you do, feel free to tag me on social media. And as always, I hope that you have a great day.